When it was announced on 13th June that Israel had struck Iran, many of us held our breath, because this can dramatically change the world order as we know it. To me, it falls into the same category as the prospect of China invading Taiwan. What is concerning is that this is part of a series of major skirmishes that have been ruling the world for a few years now. Think about places like the Middle East, Europe, Asia, Africa, and certainly in a different way, the US. It feels like nowhere is safe. Then again, look at us in Singapore. It's almost surreal. While the world wrestles with war and crisis, we are talking about CDC vouchers and COEs. I'm not complaining. I'm grateful for the peace that we experience over here. But here's the thing. Being safe doesn't mean being untouched. Thanks to mainstream and social media, we are aware of what's happening elsewhere around the world. We are watching, we are reacting, we are forming opinions and our own positions. And over time, that awareness leads to something deeper. It creates alignment, not in a sense of military alliances or formal loyalties, but in the emotional and ideological bonds we form with people and the struggles that they go through. Traditionally, we think of alignment in terms of the common allegiances that bind people together, things such as ethnicity, religion, and gender. But today, with almost unlimited access to information, a different kind of alignment has emerged. One that is based on ideas, on ideologies, on how we define justice, fairness, and power. This is why we can't assume that all ethnic Indians would support India's strong retaliation against Pakistan. Neither can we assume that all ethnic Chinese are supporting China over the US. And the general view that all Muslims are pro-Palestine, this is a fallacy. We're living in a world wide web of beliefs that crisscross and clash. It can be confusing. Noise gets mistaken for clarity, and echo chambers, supercharged by algorithms, do what they do best. They isolate us in our own beliefs and convictions. They feed us more of what we already agree with. The rest gets filtered out. This is what we call biased assimilation. Now for me, the scary thing is that we align ourselves to a position even though we have just fragments, a small part of the full picture. We see a post, a headline, a personal story that it moves us. We share, we comment. But unless we take the time to seek out context, to understand the deeper history, the power dynamics, the lived realities on both sides, we risk being shaped more by the algorithm than by actual understanding. The truth I'm sure many of us know is that social media does not care about nuance. It gives us more of what we already are engaged with. That's what keeps us scrolling. And over time, we find ourselves in an echo chamber, surrounded by people who see the world exactly as we do. Yes, with social media, it's easier for us to speak up, but it's also easier for misinformation to spread, for emotions to lead the charge, while critical thinking takes a back seat. We see tribal instincts taking over reasoned, rational thinking. In a place like Singapore, diverse, dense, and delicately balanced, this has potency, it's important. Because when people stop talking across boundaries and start talking only within their own boundaries or their communities, assumptions get reinforced. Misunderstandings deepen, some stay silent out of fear, others lash out in frustration. This is not healthy. This is not harmony. So, what do we do in a world like this? It starts with having a lot more conversations and fewer debates. This is the IQ mantra, what we believe in. Conversations that help us to clarify our own thinking and help us understand why we believe what we believe. And more importantly, why others believe something else. In a nutshell, listening. We need conversations across boundaries. Race, religion, culture, generation. When that happens, we start to see things differently. We begin to understand how someone can see the same thing and feel completely different. Our thinking becomes less binary. And in order for that to happen, we must build spaces where people from different faiths, backgrounds, and worldviews can come together. Not to argue, not to convert, but simply to sit, to speak, and to listen. If conversations only happen within communities, true harmony can never be achieved. So let's be more intentional. Let's sit at the table with someone who disagrees with you. Ask him or her a question and listen to the answer. That's how we build not just harmony, but resilience and trust. We must suspend disbelief even when it's hard, especially when it's hard.